Welcome to the All Rise Podcast Sunday Scaries. I'm your host, Christine, a civil litigator and personal mentor. Every Sunday, we'll tackle those dreaded Sunday Scaries together to demystify the practice of law and provide you with actionable tips and guidance to face your week ahead. So grab a cup of coffee, take a deep breath, and join me while we turn those Sunday Scaries into stepping stones towards your success. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the All Rise Mentors podcast, Sunday Scaries, where we're tackling those anxieties and certainties in the legal practice head on. I'm your host, Christine Barker, a civil litigator with over 20 years of experience and your personal mentor. Whether you are a new attorney navigating the complexities of your early career, or you're an experienced lawyer looking for a little fresh insight, this is the podcast for you. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about discovering your role as an associate in a law firm. Now, I know this may sound a little bizarre, but if you're a new attorney, I bet you've noticed that no one actually tells you what your role is supposed to be as an associate in a new law firm. Everyone seems to know that the partner brings in the work, that the secretary or the legal assistant, they do the filing and the serving. Even the paralegals have their role more well defined than an associate. They review documents, they prepare pleadings, they do discovery. So really, what's left for the associate to do? Well, if you're anything like I was when I first started off as a new associate, I thought everything. Everything just fell on my desk and it was my responsibility. And the good and the bad news is that's partly true. Let me explain. When I first became an associate, I was the only first year in the law firm. And when I got the job, I kind of thought that made me special because a lot of people had interviewed for the same job. A lot of people from my law school, a lot of friends of mine, and yay me, I got the job. When I first became an associate, I was the only first year in the law firm. And there was really some tough competition. I had interviewed with a lot of other attorneys, people from my law school, friends of mine, and I got the job. So I thought, yay me, I'm great. But I didn't have any other contemporaries there. So there really wasn't anybody else there for me to bounce ideas off of, question things, have those kinds of conversations. It was just me, the partner, and I had a senior counsel. One of my very first mentors, his name was Teddy, and the distribution of work at my first firm kind of went like this. The partner would give it to Teddy, Teddy would give it to me. I would do the work, I would give it to Teddy, Teddy would give it to the partner. Feedback, partner, Teddy, Teddy, me. Fix it, Christine, Teddy, Teddy, partner. And it was just rinse and repeat from there. So, and now looking back, I think about it, Teddy was probably only maybe a third or fourth year attorney, so he didn't have a whole lot of experience on me. And he was the one kind of doing the mentoring. So, I kind of think back to that, and it's just interesting that, he was still defining his role in the firm while I was trying to figure out and define my role in the firm. What I not so quickly learned was that my primary role in the firm was to support my boss. He was the senior partner. He was the one that was bringing in the clients. He was the one that was managing clients' expectations. And my role as an associate was basically to make him look good. So your primary role as an associate is to service your client, and your client is your partner. Your secondary goal, but just equally as important, is being mindful of your profitability. And we'll break that down a little bit later. And then finally is making sure that you are servicing the client as a whole. Notice that I didn't say your primary goals as an associate are to win cases, create amazing precedent, or dazzle a judge with your extensive knowledge of the rule against perpetuity. It's really not it. I know in law school they make us think that it is, but it's not. Your number one priority as a new associate is support your boss. Believe it or not, your boss knows what they need from you. Sometimes, though, they are either too overwhelmed with what's on their desk to communicate that to you. They don't know how to articulate and ask for the help that they want, or they don't even have the time to kind of dole out the assignments. They're so focused on the work that they've got going on. We are the busiest, I feel, right now in the legal profession. There is so much work to be done right now, and there really isn't a lot of help. I'm dealing with it right now at my own firm. So, as an associate, your primary job is to act as that supporting staff to your partner. And this can be a really tough pill to swallow, especially when you felt like you've spent the better part of your educational career preparing to be the lawyer. But I assure you that the sooner you realize that your time is best spent in the early days of your legal career, the partner that brings in the work, the quicker you're going to advance. How you support your partner will largely depend on the size of your firm. So in larger firms like mine, this might be document review, proofreading, legal research, writing memos, and taking on some day-to-day handling of some files. Smaller firms, it might actually be handling like client intakes, drafting timelines, summaries, and also, again, handling the day-to-day basis on a case. Whatever the task, your job is to make your partner and your firm look good to the client and to the legal community as a whole. So, some tips on how to accomplish that. First, and I cannot stress this enough, as the associate, know your case. Your partner is handling things like legal analysis, liability exposure, legal strategy, managing clients' expectations. That can be a huge challenge in and of itself. Make their lives easier by knowing the facts of a case inside and out. Create timelines of events, create cast of characters for cases, have them available during your meetings with a partner or on client calls. There is nothing more supportive to a partner than an associate who is organized and who they can rely upon to have the specifics just at their fingertips. It is indispensable for me if I have an associate on a call with me with the client and I'm over there talking strategy and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Well, we do have a trial date. The trial date is, and my associate chimes in, December 13th, Christine, trial date. There you go. We already posted jury fees. Thank you. That information is easy as an associate for you to have. And that'll make you look like a rock star in front of your partner and in front of their client. Take ownership of any task that you are given. Give your best work product at all times and make sure things like the recipient's name, if it's a letter, enclosures are included. It's properly formatted. If it's a caption, make sure the caption's correct. The case number is correct. Make sure that the judge is correct. Sometimes the judge's cases get reassigned. Make sure that we are, in fact, in front of this judge. You want your partner to be able to focus on the legal content and the analysis of whatever written document that you're giving them. So make sure that the nuts and bolts of it are already correct and they don't have to start scrambling for where's Exhibit 13. You've got it there. You've got a link to it. They've got it right at their fingertips. Solicit and welcome feedback. If your partner tells you that they like things done a certain way, listen to them. There's a reason they're saying that. Listen to them and then do it. For me, I'm really particular about the subject line in emails. I like it handled a specific way. If we're working with an insurance company, I like it to be the claim number, the name of the insured, the name of the case, and then a 3-word description of what that email is about. I stress this to my team all of the time. And I will tell you, it's the one little things like that that get overlooked that frustrate me because it's a simple, easy thing for you as an associate to do and impress your partner, make your partner look good to the client, and you yourself look like a rock star. So second to being indispensable and being that support staff to your partner is be profitable. Now, law firms are a business, and like any other business, the goal is to turn a profit. Again, this is kind of a hard reality, especially when we've spent decades in academia pontificating about legal theories. But the truth is, as lawyers, we use the law and our legal brains to make money. That's the point. So you need to be mindful about the fact that although it's really exciting to dig deep into some legal theory, but if your partner has given you a 2-hour limit to conduct legal research, spend 2 hours conducting the legal research. You're really fascinated by it, do it in your own time. But really, be mindful about the fact that your job is to be profitable for the law firm. So how do we do this? First, as an associate, you are likely a salaried employee. Salaries vary greatly from location to location, areas of laws, and the size of the law firm. And then other factors that come into play are things like your years of experience, your performance, and then the overall profitability of the firm as a whole. Things that you have control over. So you don't have control over your years of experience. If you're a brand new attorney, you're a brand new attorney. You're going to have to deal with that. Location, you may have some experience, you may have some control over that if you change jurisdictions, but say you're licensed in California, you're likely going to have to work in California. Of course, with remote working, things like that, that has changed a little bit about where you live, but it really doesn't change with respect to the market that you're actually working in. And then obviously the size of the firm, you can decide what kind of firm you want to work for, but I would encourage you to, to test out some. I worked in large firms to medium-sized firms to sole practitioners, and I found my sweet spot in the size of the firm that I'm in now. So regardless of what size of firm you're in or your location, the number one way that most law firms are going to gauge your profitability is by the billable hour, meaning that you bill your time in 6-minute increments to a client. Usually there's a minimum billing requirement, and this can range from, say, usually around 1,600 hours a year if you're doing transactional work to 1,900 or 2,000 if you're doing litigation work. That's usually about the range. So the best way to ensure that you are profitable if you are having to bill your hours is, number one, timely billing all of your time. Get into the habit, and I cannot stress this enough, get into the habit of entering and releasing your time every single day. You will lose time if you don't do it on a daily basis. You will forget a phone call that you made. You will forget an email that you sent. You will forget the time that you sat and thought about, a strategy with respect to a meet and confer. You will forget. So get it down on paper. Most law firms now have electronic time entries. I think our firm uses a program called iTimekeep. There's all kinds of programs out there. If your firm doesn't have one of those kinds of programs and you have to manually write in your time, just put it on a piece of paper. I keep next to me a notepad every day, and I write down, as soon as I pick up the phone and I make a phone call, I write down the name of the case, I write down who I called, and I have my phone call. Then I'll write down a 0.2 or 0.3, 0.5, however long the phone call was. Then I always have iTimekeep open, and I immediately enter that time in. You will capture your time best if you are doing it contemporaneously with you actually doing the work. I know it feels like that it is taking away from billable work to go run and put the entry in. If you actually time it, it takes about 10 to 20 seconds to enter in a time entry. It will take you 10 hours at the end of the month to go back through all of your emails and your notes and try and recreate your day. And I guarantee you, you will miss time. Get into the habit early in your career to enter your time contemporaneously. Cannot stress that enough. Aim to maximize your utilization rate. What I mean by this is for every hour that you're working, you are billing to a client. That's ideally the goal. Now, realistically, that's not going to happen. There are lots of non-billable things and tasks that you're going to be doing at the office. Running copies, coffee break, having lunch, chatting with the colleagues in the hallway. Inevitably that happens. But you want to strive for billing and maximizing as much time as you are in the office that it's being billed to a client. A quick way to figure out how many hours you need to bill in a day in order to meet your minimum billing requirement is take the minimum billing requirement, say it's 1,900, that's what my firm is, and divide it by the number of billing days in the year. That's going to give you how many hours you need to bill on any given billable day. A really fun tip is reduce the number of days by 10. So take your minimum billing requirement, the number of billable days in a year, minus 10, and you've just created a 2-week vacation for yourself. If you're in a firm that does not require you bill your time, your profitability will be calculated by subtracting your salary and your yearly bonuses by the amount of money that you bring into the firm. So you can figure out that math as well. Obviously, your number one goal as a first year associate or early years of your career is to be that rock star associate to your partner. Being mindful of your profitability is going to put you heads above your colleagues. Finally, servicing clients. At the end of the day, our job as lawyers, be it the partner or the associate, is to provide legal services to paying clients. Surprisingly, this often gets overlooked by both new and seasoned attorneys because it can be hard sometimes to set aside your ego and your preferences to do what's right for your client or to do what your client wants. Our job as attorneys is to give our clients the information. They give us the facts about their cases. We bring in the legal analysis, but the client gets to decide what they want to do with that case. Sometimes it makes more business sense for them to settle a case that you know you could win at trial, but it's better for them to settle the case. Or they may say, hey, you know what? I know we're going to lose, but I need to make a statement. I need to let people know that we're not going to back down and we're not going to, just roll over on some of these cases. So I want to take this case to trial. It's your client's decision. As the associate, who's your primary client? Your partner, your boss. So I know that it can be hard to take marching orders from somebody else. I have heard this from associates before, that they don't feel like they're being heard, or that nobody's taking into consideration their thoughts or their analysis, and they just feel like they're just being ordered around and told, hey, go take this deposition or shut that deposition down, or I want to file this law in motion, and you're like, look, you're not going to win. And I get it. And it's okay for you to have those open dialogue with your partner. But at the end of the day, if your partner says, yeah, I know we're going to lose, I want you to do it anyway, there's a reason for it. And as the associate, be a sponge and absorb all of those reasons and understand the strategy behind it. Because sometimes there's things going on in the background that you don't understand and you don't know about. Totally fine. But again, your number one client as an associate is your partner. Think about it this way. Every day, a senior partner in your office has work that they need to have performed. Be it taking a deposition or drafting a legal brief or taking on a new file. They have choices about which associates they want to do work with, who they want to do their work. If you're the rock star associate, they're going to want to work with you. If you're the one that says, hey, I can figure that out, or hey, I want to give it a try, or I'm not afraid to take a deposition, let me step in, or you don't want me to take the deposition, here I prepared an outline for you. Here I have all the exhibits for you. You being that to your partner is showing them that they want you to be their associate. Your customer, your partner, is shopping their work around, and you want to be the one that they go to. The number one complaint I hear from partners now is that associates want to pick and choose the work that they do. I know we live in a society right now that tells us that we need to ask for what we want. You need to speak up, live your best life, manifest, all of these things, right? And I'm not poo-pooing that at all. But I just want to say that, even that's all well and good, but don't overlook opportunities. Don't overlook the chances to learn and to grow. And as a new associate, these opportunities can come in the form of the mundane and boring tasks or complex and challenging tasks. And you're new. A lot of this stuff is going to be challenging. Embrace both of these, the mundane and the boring, the complex and the complicated and challenging, with a desire to provide the best legal services to your client. Your partner is your client. So just keep that in mind, and you are sure to become the rockstar associate in the office. So just to recap, as a new associate, it's kind of challenging to determine what your role is in a law firm. And you will be heads above all of your competition if you remember that your number one priority is to be a support to your partner, to your boss. Your second priority is be mindful of your profitability. And your third priority is to service the client. So I hope this discussion was helpful for you. If you're interested in learning more about All Rise Mentors, or if you have any questions, please check out the QR code below. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. And if there are other topics that you'd like us to challenge, let us know. Happy to help out. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time.